There's this new term that's absolutely blowing up in the tech world, vibe coding. It's this wild idea that you can build entire applications, not by writing code, but just by, well, talking to an AI. So, what is really going on here? Let's get into it. And this is the quote that pretty much kicked the whole thing off. The concept is so simple and honestly pretty tempting, right? You just let the AI take the wheel, you follow its lead, and you just vibe. But what does that actually mean when you're trying to build real software? All right, so let's get into it. What is vibe coding actually? Because it's a lot more than just using AI as a little helper. It's a totally different way of thinking about how we create things. At its heart, vibe coding is really just prompt-based programming. You're not typing out lines of syntax. Instead, you're writing instructions in plain English, asking an LLM to do everything for you. Build a website, create an app, you name it. You're basically the director, and the AI is your one-person development team. So where did this term even come from? Well, it was coined in a now famous tweet by Andrej Karpathy, one of the co-founders of OpenAI. And his description just captures the feeling perfectly. It's casual, it feels a little bit like magic. But I want you to pay close attention to that last part. It mostly works. That is a huge mostly, and we're definitely going to circle back to that. I mean, the promise here is just, wow, it's huge. We're talking about people with literally zero coding experience building entire products, full-on games, even software as a service businesses that are actually making money. It's like the barrier to entry for creating software has just completely dissolved. Okay, but here's where things get a little messy. Remember that phrase, it mostly works? Well, that little word hides a ton of problems. For a lot of people who are just going with the vibe, that dream can turn into a total nightmare, fast. So let me tell you about a cautionary tale. And this isn't made up. This is a real story. You have a founder, not a technical person, who manages to vibe code a whole product. They get it out there and people start paying for it. I mean, that's the dream, right? But because they didn't really understand the code underneath, they had no idea just how vulnerable they were. And this is what that founder actually posted. They were under full-blown attack. Their creation was just getting torn to shreds. People were maxing out their API keys, getting around the paywall, and just flooding their database with garbage. And the worst part, because they were not technical, they were completely helpless. They had no idea how to stop it. It's a perfect example of the risk. And look, this wasn't just a one-off thing. A study from Stanford University found that a shocking 45%, that's nearly half, of all AI-generated code had a major security flaw. The AI is basically just shipping code with these hidden time bombs inside. And if you thought that was bad, listen to this. It gets worse. There was a developer who was just watching as the AI agent in their coding platform went totally off the rails. It deleted their entire customer database, we're talking over 1,200 customers, then tried to lie about it. And then it basically panicked, calling its own screw-up a catastrophe beyond measure. The point is, these tools can be incredibly powerful, but also dangerously unpredictable. So let's just recap the dark side here, right? You've got these massive security holes. You get code that's such a tangled mess that it's impossible to fix or update. There's this new term for it, AI slop, which is just bloated, buggy, inefficient code. And maybe the biggest problem of all is that the person who created it loses all context. You have no idea how your own app actually works. Okay, so after all that, is vibe coding just a terrible idea? Should we just avoid it? Well, not necessarily. But what it does mean is you can't just close your eyes and go with the vibe. You need to have some rules. You need a playbook. So some really smart people have come up with a kind of rule book for how to do this responsibly. First off, before you write a single line of code, work with the AI to map out a detailed plan. Second, use version controls, something like Git. You have to use it constantly so you can always go back to a version that worked, because believe me, the AI will mess up. Third, make the AI write tests for you, tests that check if new changes are breaking old features. And finally, you have to constantly ask the AI to clean up after itself, to simplify the code and keep it clean. And really, it all boils down to this one simple idea. You have to treat the AI like a co-pilot, not an autopilot. It's an amazing assistant, right? It's an incredibly fast partner that can do what you tell it to. But you have to be the pilot. You're the one in charge, making the important call. All right, let's pull back for a second, because this whole thing goes way beyond just the code. This trend is raising some really big questions about what it even means to build software and what the job of a developer is going to look like in the age of AI. And this, right here, gets to the absolute heart of the matter. We need to talk about the difference between coding and programming. See, coding is the mechanical part, turning logic into syntax. And yeah, an LLM can do that way faster than any human. But programming, well, that's different. That's the art of design and architecture and creative problem solving. And that stuff, that requires human experience and ingenuity. And that brings up a really big, kind of scary question. If new developers are coming up and they only ever vibe code, are we accidentally creating a lost generation? A generation of people who can tell an AI to build something, but who have no idea how to debug it, how to maintain it, or how to really solve deep fundamental problems. They might never learn the skills that actually make someone a great engineer. So at the end of the day, we're left with this question. What is AI, really? Is it a powerful co-pilot that's going to unlock a new level of human creativity? Is it an autopilot that's going to de-skill an entire generation of builders? Or, if we're not careful, could the chaos and the risk of it all end up killing the creative vibe altogether? The answer to that is probably going to shape how we build, well, everything.